Hi again, it's Haley from Neuhaus Education Center. Today I'm going to walk you through oral language during a Reading Readiness Advanced Schedule lesson. You're going to need your red Reading Readiness Manual, turn behind the oral language section. For today's purposes, let's pretend I am teaching the unit on seasons, months, and holidays. It can be found on page 24 of the oral language section, and you can see that it's laid out by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. However, because we're in the advanced schedule, I'm going to be teaching this in conjunction with a story from the story retelling manual, which is purple, and I've chosen for these purposes Abdul's Birthday Present, which can be found on page 11. What's the purpose of oral language? Well, during oral language, you're getting students to talk. The teacher is going to be scaffolding discussions for the students, but you're going to be asking them questions. They're going to be doing naming and describing activities. And through this oral language development, students are going to be able to improve their ability to visualize during reading, use context clues, retrieve content. During Reading Readiness Advanced Schedule, we're moving to more advanced concepts of oral language. So students aren't just naming and describing, but now they're going to be, in addition to that, answering questions and retelling stories as well. So what materials do I need for a Reading Readiness Advanced Schedule oral language lesson? You're going to need both of these manuals. You're going to need any pictures indicated in the oral language section of the Reading Readiness Manual. Remember, these can be found on the Neuhaus Pinterest page, which is a great resource. For the storytelling, you're going to need the storytelling retelling cards. You can notice down here, I have that upside down. You can notice down here that the number is listed, and that's going to help you keep your cards in order. I've pulled out the ones for Abdul's Birthday Present. What do I need to prepare before I teach? Well, before I teach, I need to read through both manuals, the material for the week. There might be vocabulary words in the oral language lessons for the Reading Readiness Manual later in the week that I want to make sure to incorporate earlier in the week. And I want to make sure I have a firm understanding of the story and all the questions. I need to have any of the pictures or realia or the cards ready. And I also need to have the story chosen. I need to make sure that I have a firm understanding of when to present these cards and be thinking about what kind of specific vocabulary I want to include in my retelling that I would like students to use during their retelling. I'll be leading my students in dialogue about the topic during oral language, and it might be what we call controlled pandemonium. I'm going to acknowledge appropriate responses, explain things that kids have misconceptions about, use challenging vocabulary, and scaffold students to correct understandings when necessary. So let's talk a little bit about the schedule. In a typical oral language lesson for the initial schedule and how we have it in the manual, on Mondays you do naming, Tuesdays you do more naming to review and extend, on Wednesdays you're describing, Thursdays, you're doing things to think about, and Fridays, you're doing critical thinking. But because we're in the advanced schedule, we want to speed things up a little bit. So here's how it's going to go. Monday, we're going to do naming and more naming. On Tuesday, we'll do describing. On Wednesday, we'll do things to think about and critical thinking. Then on Thursday and Friday, we're going to move into our storytelling. On Thursday, you are going to read the story aloud and use the cards to retell. On Friday, the teacher will read the story aloud and let the students use the cards to retell. This portion of the lesson is only going to take about 5 minutes, and you might be thinking, how on earth am I going to get everything done in 5 minutes? Well, just like with any other part of this lesson, if you teach the students through routines, you can really get through a lot. Students are going to be participating orally during oral language, but you want them to be talking. This is not the time to raise your hand and call on one student at a time. Give them opportunities to use the vocabulary and knowledge they have learned. Remember, you can refer to either of your manuals for more information.